This week in East Brunswick, we'll see some scenes from the 7th Annual Senior Citizens Olympics, held last Thursday at Bicentennial Park. Sharon Karmazin will talk about the upcoming House and Garden Tour in town with members of the East Brunswick Garden Club, and Adrienne Eisner will suggest how to spot shady loan operations. And we'll close with coverage of this week's Township Council meeting, which will include annual Police Commendation Awards. First, let's look at some of U.S. Senator Bill Bradley's visit to Chittick School. Bradley, who visited school systems throughout the state this week, spoke to our high school students and later to 4th, 5th, and 6th graders from Chittick School this Monday. The senator began by challenging the students with a hand-eye coordination game. Later, he quizzed students on their knowledge of New Jersey.
What is the capital of New Jersey? Don't raise your hand. How many in here can tell me the name of the river that borders New Jersey in the west? Delaware, right. How many can tell me the name of the river that borders New Jersey in the northeast? Hudson, right. This is a pretty smart group. How many of you can tell me where the Pine Barrens are?
North Jersey?
Okay, South Jersey. That was pretty good. It's not north, it's not south. How many of you can tell me what the Pine Barrens are? Wait, let's listen. You said there are pine trees, and there are a lot of pine trees. That's right. Anybody tell me anything else about it? What? Museums? Okay. Anybody else has a hand up, wants to tell me about the Pine Barrens? A lot of wildlife, that's right. Would you believe it? Would you believe that 25% of all of New Jersey is like wilderness and pine barrens, where there are a lot of animals and wildlife, pine trees? Okay, let me ask you one other question before we go back to our test.
Later, it was Senator Bradley's turn to answer questions from the students.
Yes.
Since being elected on January 1929, what bill do you think you have passed do you think is most important?
Oh, good question. Since I was elected 4.5 years ago, what bill did I pass that I think is the most important? Well, I don't have one that I can pick. Let me tell you about a couple, okay? One was something called the Superfund bill. Now, in New Jersey, in various places, we have toxic waste dumps. Do any of you have ever heard that? Yes. This was a bill that I passed in the Senate to get money to clean up those toxic waste dumps. That was important to me. Another thing that was important to me. Do any of you have parents that ride the train to work? Or ride the bus to work? Yeah. Well, another thing that I did was we got a lot of money for the New Jersey bus system and rail system so that your parents could ride to work for less cost and it's cleaner and safer buses and trains.
Before the senator left, he autographed a copy of his biography for the Chittick Library, and Kevin O'Rourke of Channel 8 spoke with him.
With Senator Bradley over at Chittick School. Senator, you've been visiting schools around the state this week?
I always try to stop in middle school or high school occasionally because it's important for me to be in touch with all the citizens, and kids are people too, as they say.
What were your impressions of the kids in East Brunswick?
Well, they're terrific, they're bright, they're uninhibited, in some senses, what you want to have happen when you come into middle school. You want to deal with the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders and all their excitement and all their openness and all their incredible openness for learning, too.
Thanks very much, Senator Bradley.
Thank you. Good to be here.
The 7th Annual Senior Citizens Olympic Competition took place this Thursday at East Brunswick's own Olympiad, Bicentennial Park. Here we see the official Olympic torch being carried by last year's winners, Pat Dougherty, Nancy Penapinto, Nabe Feller, and Abe Brenner, signaling the opening of the Games. After further remarks by Cynthia Schechter and Karen Bork, the Games got underway.
Participate, win an extra prize, and have a really good time.
As was hoped, the weather held out, and everyone did have a really good time. Contestants worked their way through a wide variety of events: football and basketball tosses, a scavenger hunt, and a tricky obstacle course, among others. Let's have a look at some of the fun. Later we'll have the names of the winners. This year's winners were Abe Brenner, taking first place in the men's for the 4th year in a row, and Ida Agner for the women. Second and third place for men were John Fixmer and William Scheibel. Second place in the women's division went to Bessie Gross, with Ann Meltzer and Stella Kosciuszko tied for third. Congratulations to all the winners and all the East Brunswick senior citizens who participated in this fun-filled event.
Hello, this is Sharon Karmazin here at the library for This Week in East Brunswick. And with me today, I have two members of the East Brunswick Garden Club's Heritage Trail Tour Committee. They're here to tell us about the wonderful project that the Garden Club is going to be having on June 4th. Welcome, ladies. I have Kathy Cody, directly to my right, and Donna Mallory, her co-chairman. Nice to have you here today.
Well, we're happy to be here. We're delighted that you would do this because it's marvelous exposure for our effort.
Well, your tour sounds very, very exciting. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
I did give you the brochure, and the first thing I want to tell you about it is that Mrs. Mallory, my co-chairman, does an absolutely fantastic job with the help of her daughter Diane in compiling the brochure and doing the beautiful artwork, which really I think is an outstanding effort.
It is a wonderful guidebook for the people who will be going on the tour. Yes, it actually has sketches of each of the, is it 8 places?
8 places.
That will be open for people to stop?
And that is also, the brochure is also the ticket of admission. So if you do purchase tickets now, within this next period, make sure that you have them with you for the tour, because there might be a bit of a problem. The tickets are, the donation is $5, and we don't have a separate ticket other than the brochure.
I see. Can you tell us, first of all, the date and the time?
The date is June 4th, And the tour will be from 12 until 5, and we're serving refreshments in the Sylvia Cap Garden from 4 to 6 p.m.
So that people can go at their leisure and decide on their own itinerary from place to place once they stop and get their tickets if they haven't gotten them in advance.
We thought it would be a nice social hour to
Right.
have everyone assembled together.
Can you name some of the places that will be on the tour?
Yes, we have Grace Hour's home, which is our home. That's the German word for hour and for home. And we have the Carpel home and garden. And we have the Penza home on Fern Road.
That brings to mind a question, by the way. Are some of the homes open as well as the gardens?
Some of the homes are open and some gardens only. The Balsamites garden is open only, and the Shapiro garden is open only. But the rest of the areas are open in the homes also.
I see. I understand the museum is also on your itinerary. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, the Historical Museum is very graciously continuing their display entitled Oriental Splendor, and that will be open. And since we had the ethnic and heritage theme for our tour, we were delighted to know that they were going to hold that for us, and we're praying for a lovely 4th. But if we have a problem with rain, as this is our, 13th or 14th weekend of rain.
Well, it's bound to
say a
end
little
just
prayer.
in time for you.
But they are extending it until the 5th for us.
So that you do have a rain date on Sunday.
We do have a rain
the 5th.
date on Sunday.
And I understand there will be exhibits here at the library also, so that people, if they come back from the tour, there are refreshments that you're planning to serve outside, and there will be displays in the library. Tell me about the Indo-Pakistani Festival.
We have a very charming Pakistani neighbor of mine who is a member of the club, and we are so delighted with the effort she's made on our behalf. She has even sent to Washington, D.C., to the Pakistani embassy or somewhere in that Washington area, and is bringing lots of artifacts and beautiful Indo-Pakistani things to put on display from many various sources.
And that will be here in the gardens, is that right?
That will be here in the gardens. Actually, it will be over near our little garden, the Sylvia Cap Garden, in that vicinity. And she will also be displaying a number of women and young girls dressed in saris. As the provinces in Pakistan vary the way they wrap the saris. And it's absolutely a heritage, a terrible thing to wrap a sari and have to put a pin in it to hold yourself together.
So it has to be
draped and folded just so gracefully. And we thought it was an art that all of us might like. I've enjoyed seeing the number of Pakistani and Indian people in our community with their beautiful saris. She's going to have a bride and a groom, and
that's a wonderful addition to the day.
Isn't
so
it
really is not only East Brunswick heritage, but national heritages of many of the people who live in town.
And some live music, possibly a group of 5 people doing sitar music and harmonium.
Okay, well, as we close, let's again remind people of the date, which is Saturday, June 4th, and the time from 12 to 5 for the Heritage Trail Tour sponsored by the Garden Club. Tickets are available. They're $5 each, either in advance or at the various sites on the tour. We recommend you can stop at the library, at the museum, at our home, or at the Marion Thomas home. Start your trip there and make the Heritage Trail around East Brunswick. I'd like to thank my guests for today, Donna Mallory and Kathy Cody. Thank you very much for coming. We'll see you on the Heritage Trail, and we'll see you on the Heritage Trail too.
Hello, I'm Adrienne Eisner of the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. Welcome to Consumer Aware. The Commissioner of Banking, Michael M. Horn, cautions consumers to be wary of eye-catching advertisements that promise to solve all financial problems with a seemingly low-cost loan. These tempting ads are aimed at the unwary and often financially desperate consumer by unlicensed moneylenders who either bait and switch or bait and flee. In one case, the consumer will contact the firm for the advertised low rate, only to find that by the time all the applications have been processed, the rate has escalated from an 11% rate to an 18% rate. Another scheme is to collect several $100s in application fees from all the others who have responded and then leave town. During the past year, the Department of Banking has received more than 100 complaints from consumers who have become victims of these schemes. We recommend the following safeguards to consumers who are looking for the best available loan rate. First of all, check the legitimacy of the company by calling the Department of Banking Consumer Credit Bureau at 609-292-7272. That's the Department of Banking Consumer Credit Bureau at 609-292-7272. In that way, you can be sure that the firm is licensed. All legitimate lenders are licensed and examined by this department. Do not give upfront money. Licensed second mortgage lenders are not by law permitted to charge application fees. Be wary of anyone who comes to your home or offers to come to your home. This often indicates that the firm is nothing more than a telephone number. Be suspicious of any advertisement that claims the firm can prevent bankruptcy or foreclosure and solve all your financial problems with a loan that is below market rate. Report any procedure that seems questionable to our office or to the Department of Banking. In fact, the licensed moneylenders are doing a fine job, according to the Department of Banking, and there is money available at market rates. But remember that anything sounds too good to be true probably is. If you have any further questions, please call the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. We are there Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. The phone number is 390-6954. And thank you for joining me on Consumer Aware.
At this week's Township Council meeting, Council President Geraldine Weber, Director of Public Safety Thomas P. Terrell, and Deputy Director James Newmeyer presented the annual Police Distinguished Service and Certificate of Commendation Awards. The ceremony began with the entrance and salute of the Color Guard. Among those honored were Patrolmen Gary Holston and Jerome Pollock, who thwarted a $305,000 bank robbery in East Brunswick last April, and Lorraine Check and Jean Newmacher, bank employees who alerted the police. Other awards went to Patrolman Edward Juba, Thomas Finn, and Frederick Joler, Sergeant John Jensen, Detectives Dennis Gann, Robert Gomolka, John Kenny, and Kenneth O'Connor, and to private citizens Gail and Donna Cranston and Edward Fedak. Bonding ordinances slated for final discussion and vote Monday had to be tabled till next month since only 3 members attended the meeting, not enough to pass a bonding ordinance. Store Cable reported to the council that plans for rewiring the township's cable system are proceeding on schedule. The rebuild is scheduled to be completed in the winter of 1983. Adrian Eisner of the Township Consumer Affairs Office noted that complaints about Store's service, once very frequent, stopped completely last month. The council will begin its summer schedule in June. Agenda sessions will take place on the second Monday of June, July, and August, and action sessions on the fourth Mondays. Just a quick note, East Brunswick's 1983 Memorial Day Parade will be held on Sunday, May 29th. Marchers will leave the Public Works Garage on Harts Lane at 1 p.m., travel west on Milltown Road to Jensen, then east on Dunham's Corner Road to Riders Lane. The reviewing stand will be located by the Municipal Building. Following the parade will be a memorial service at 3:30 and a picnic at 4 by the Civic Center Pond. So come out and enjoy yourself, and be sure to watch next week for parade coverage on This Week in East Brunswick. Next week, we'll be presenting a special show celebrating this week's 2nd anniversary.